Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 156 of Dissonant Worlds. My name is
Hello.
Dominic. Ritz and Trix are here.
We.
Hello again. Trix was actually the first one here. I feel like we just need to record that evidence.
Yeah.
It's a historical moment.
Usually I'm slacking.
Instead, it was me. It was watching YouTube shorts that was slacking.
Been there, man.
Of course, this is when the ambulance has come by my window.
Hell yeah. So whilst the ambulance come to pick up Dominic due to his slacking, we've got a couple of albums to cover this week. We kind of actually expanded it a very tiny amount.
This comes in two stages. It's an expanded edition of an episode in some ways.
Good foreshadowing.
So, initially, Trix said, hey, I want to do Cage the Elephant, Thank You, Happy Birthday. And Ritz said, I want to do Blind Girls' two albums, Residue and The Weight of Everything, and I'm going to put in Hanoi Traffic's Towards an End, the release, the new EP. Great. And we picked that I would choose the Christian Kahn album, I Won't Feel Like I Do Now, the onlinefriends Winter Tape EP, and the Scarecrow Anthem single. And then as we kind of realized, we did the interview with onlinefriends, we have another week to kind of just listen to stuff. We all said, hey, let's do more. And so Trix chose the expanded edition of Cage the Elephant's Thank You Happy Birthday, which includes another track, as well as their newest track, Neon Pill, which is foreshadowing some kind of album release. And then Ritz said, hey, Hanoi Traffic has another EP called Kids With No Style. We should do that. And I said, fine, alright. onlinefriends has a live EP called Live at Minecraft Moe Fest, and a cover of Sweaty Hands by Nice. Let's cover those too, motherfuckers. And so here we are. For the most part, we've covered all of that, with one minor exception for Ritz.
Yes.
Potentially, I don't know if I heard it or not. Damn hidden tracks. Where do we want to start? Good answer.
I'm good to start. Let's talk about. Well, okay. Let's talk about Blind Girls and Hanoi Traffic together here.
That's fair.
I think the trajectory is similar in both cases.
Yes. So, we're going back into the screamo train. I like the underground emo scene that's been bubbling up in Australia, and I've been discovering more and more of it over the past couple of years. Last year, I went to Brisbane to see La Dispute. Blind Girls opened for them. I was actually getting a lot of hype from one of my online friends, foreshadow, who was like, "Oh, I'm so excited to see Blind Girls! So excited to see Blind Girls!" And I had never seen them before. And then they come out onto stage. This girl who's dressed up in full black just grabs the microphone with a band behind her, starts falling to the floor and screaming. And after it was done, I messaged that dude and said, "Oh, you're alright." That might have been the angstiest live set I've ever seen. But I'll tell you what, it was great. I feel like angsty is probably like a kind of rude word to use there. Admittedly, I haven't gone too much dissecting of the lyrics, but I feel like I can kind of get the vibe of everything from the names alone, you know? Like, The Weight of Everything, a song called The Shape of Harm. Yeah, I think I get where the vibe's going at.
Yeah.
That being said, I am an angsty kid. So I immediately was like, yeah, I like this. And Hanoi Traffic, the kind of other similarities is that these are both Queensland-based bands. Blind Girls is from the Gold Coast, whilst Hanoi Traffic is Brisbane-based. So they're actually, whilst Gold Coast isn't Brisbane, it's right next to it, so not quite the same scene, I guess, but also the same scene. They've also got, well, they've just recently released their new EP. They had a bit of Instagram post advertising for it. That's really it. You're not really getting prime TV slots for this.
It's not even on their website. They don't really use their website anymore, it seems like.
But they had an EP out there as well, which also isn't on Spotify. So I didn't actually quite know it existed for a while, but now I finally do.
So
Indeed.
That's really the background for this. I mean, I don't think there's really anything too special about the band's history other than Blind Girls. I guess it's had some good scores on Rate Your Music.
They've been around since like 2013, so this is kind of like,
Yeah.
they've been there. They've done their thing for a little while, and after some splits and EPs, this is where they are now. That's cool. Now, Blind Girls, they've been in it for a minute. You can see their style. You can see them develop. It sounds consistent. Hanoi Traffic, though, the first and second EP are very different from each other.
Yeah, there's positives and cons in the new EP, and the kind of big one is that the big positive is that the production is a lot cleaner.
Yeah,
it's a lot more coherent, just actual sound wise. But the negative I feel that comes out of it is that the actual structure and writing in the songs has lost a lot of its creativity that was allowed in this kind of unbounded. So when they've made this more focused EP, yeah, it's allowed for, I guess, some to kind of master some sections of their writing. But I just go back to the earlier EP because it's just really fucking fun.
it's just better.
Yeah.
The first EP is like a dynamic, interesting look at how you can inject like scrams into like song structure and make it interesting and tie it into like other things that are happening. Like there's a really cool guitar segment, I believe it's in the Henry Rollins song, that just kind of comes through the middle.
It's weird that it's an EP because it also feels like an album. They've really kind of like, they haven't made 6 different songs. Sorry, it's a 6-track EP. It actually feels like one giant song nearly of how it flows into each other.
But then it's like, you lose everything of that. You lose like the parts that make it interesting. And yeah, it sounds better, but so what? That's kind of my opinion of it. Like, it feels like they cast aside everything to get to the level of Residue from Blind Girls, where Residue is fine. I don't have any special feelings or opinions about it compared to The Weight of Everything. But it's like they cast aside everything to get to that stage, and it's like, why? Fucking I'll See You in a While is such a fucking great song.
Yeah.
That would not exist at all on the current EP or the current trajectory. I don't get it.
I just fully agree. Basically, I like that we have all these different sounds that it should clash. It's not something that's them creating or them doing first. Is to do the whole, here's some soft sections and now here's some heavy sections. That's not the first one doing it, but whilst I feel like the heavier sections are kind of executed a bit more well on a new EP, they still do everything well enough on this that it just, in a whole, this is such a more just creative effort. It's the kind of way of explaining it. I mean, the song "There's No Money in Math Rock," which literally starts off going as just like a trinkly math rock song, into a pretty hard hitting screamo rest of the song. Whilst it still does have those guitars going on and stuff, you get those trinkly soft guitars even in the heavier sections of it. It all just flows so well that that's what's trying to find the good ways to kind of explain it other than just saying fun. But I think that's just really why I like this EP, is that it's just really fun.
It's like the things that the local bands that we like are doing, of just like kind of doing different shit because it sounds cool. It's like an Origami Angel thing in a way of like, let's throw these different sections together and see what happens.
Now, there's one thing that got you really excited when I chose this EP, Dominic.
Yeah.
You really wanted to be able to speak about something.
Yeah, one of the songs on the was it Kids with No Talent?
Kids with No Style.
Yeah, Kids with No Style. There's a song called Henry Rollins, the guy from He Never Died, and I fucking love that movie. I think He Never Died is a weird little indie low budget action movie starring Henry Rollins that must be watched.
I've never heard of it before.
Me either, and I'm somewhat a fan of Henry Rollins.
It's low budget, it's you just can tell, and it's totally fine. And like the thing with Henry Rollins is that he plays a character, and it's kind of like, who is he? Why is he like this? It's kind of the mystery. But there's something about his acting style. It's like watching a cutscene in Mass Effect or something, and you just kind of just imagine kind of him going through the dialogue tree and just pressing whatever suits the moment best. It's a really interesting thing of just like, you're just kind of watching him consider his response and then respond in a way that fits the character. And I don't know if that's just from his like Henry Rollins being Henry Rollins, or that's just like a conscious decision. And I've always thought that was super cool. And it's an action movie. It's fun.
I didn't realize it was 2015, so it's not that old of a film. It's actually only around 8 years old because it was December 2015.
Yeah, I watched it in college with a friend of mine, and we just fucking loved it.
Oh, it had its world premiere March 17th, so it's actually closer to the 8th. Henry Rollins as Jack/Kane/Vlad the Impaler.
That's a little bit of a spoiler, but yeah.
I'm just on the Wikipedia there. It's got an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, so
the movie is called He Never Died. I wonder why they say he never died.
He probably never died. It was you. You're the American Psycho.
But yeah, it's a cool movie. Maybe I'll throw it on the show as a fun watch at some point. But I definitely recommend checking it out on your own time. It's what made me interested in Henry Rollins as like a person.
And Henry Rollins definitely has kind of interesting history, to say the least. I mean, it's mostly just because he's been around for so long as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you compare that to something that we've actually watched in this show, like what was that Billy Joe movie, Trix?
Ordinary World.
Yeah, and I think Ordinary World worked in a way because it made a character for Billy Joe Armstrong to be Billy Joe Armstrong, or at least a version of himself. And He Never Died kind of fits in that role, but I think it's better because it's just more interesting. But yeah, definitely worth a watch.
I'll have to check it out.
But even so, going back into the actual song, it kind of starts off with how "There's No Money in Math Rock" ends. Like, I can't actually tell you the exact second that it starts because I've never listened to it as an individual song. But it has like this kind of just ambient start, and then it just goes back into what it's doing, and that's what I like about this EP is that it will calm itself down and just really weird sounds. Really, I guess it is like this isn't. The ambient sound isn't like some classic white noise or anything like that. It's like it's almost like the noise that's still going from the previous guitars and instrumentation.
There are several, like, I think every time I've listened to it, I have just kind of like tuned out a little bit at the end of Math Rock, and all of a sudden we're like over a minute into Henry Rollins, and I have not noticed a change in song. Or there are times where it's like, the song changes, and I'm like, oh, did we change songs? Oh no, we didn't. But it doesn't feel disjointed. It doesn't feel like they're doing something weird and like starting the track in the middle and ending it off center, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel like that.
Nah. No. And then Groundhog Day starts off with a pretty grotesque imagery of a dog being laid spread eagle on his doorstep.
Yeah, there's also a lot of like kind of spoken word or like kind of muttered like monologue happening at certain points. And like there's a lot of scrams too, but like there's just kind of like a lot of stuff surrounding it that you just, it's like, oh yeah, there's some of that. Oh yeah, there's some of that. But like
it's why I like talking about contrast, and I love the contrasts. Once we go into I've already forgotten what the new Hanoi Traffic EP was called.
Towards an End.
Towards an End. Which I still like the EP. I still think it's fine for what it does. It's just that the other EP is so much better, and how we're doing this is that we're doing a comparison. The Towards an EP is just scrams for 11 minutes, and it is good scrams,
Yeah,
but that
so
same scrams hits harder when you've had those moment breaks.
I remember liking certain moments on Towards an End, but if you ask me about it now, I'd say it was a blunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Like
I mean,
it's
I'll probably go back to some individual songs because it's the 2024
yeah.
cycle.
Mhm.
But
It's enough of a shift where I had to be like, is this the same band?
mm,
I'm pretty sure it is, but like it's enough to make me question like what the fuck happened. Why
it definitely is the same band. I can guarantee you that.
why are you cutting all the crust off of the bread for no reason?
Yeah.
Trix, what about you?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a huge Scrams fan, no matter how much I try, and so I just thought this was like okay.
Any of the four things stand out at all?
Not particularly.
But when Home is Where does it,
This
you're
is
right
what it's
there.
like. This is what it's
I-
like for me,
it-
Trix. Every time you pick Shaky Graves,
It's funny you say that.
I know you're planning on it. You're always planning on it, babe. It's time for more Shaky Graves. Yes, dear.
Well, I mean, his day was recently.
And he did release like 10 fucking albums.
Yeah.
I know. There's a certain point in which I don't get scared anymore. It's basically just yes, dear.
Yes, one of the great American sitcoms. Yes, dear.
Well, we've been kind of stuck on Hanoi Traffic for a bit. Shall we move on to Blind Girls for a bit before we wrap up this section?
Yeah, Weight of Everything's great. Weight of Everything is like the differentiator. It's the stuff with like a lot more cool sounding riffs and like kind of whacked out moments that I enjoyed more.
Funnily enough, I think Residue is the one that's gotten the higher rating. I think it's actually got one of the highest ratings for, if not the highest rating on Rate Your Music for an Australian emo album.
People also like Jerome's Dream, so I don't know what to say.
I don't know. I'm just putting out what's popular. It doesn't mean that you have to like what's the most popular one or the most liked. It's just what everyone else likes, and that's what everybody listening to would judge us on. If we do not agree with the popular decision, then we are bad journalists.
I mean,
Indeed.
if we were here to just agree with popular decision, why even have a podcast?
Exactly. But Blind Girls has also been making some waves overseas as well, which is kind of a big thing that I rate your music because that's mostly American users on that side. She laughed. We laugh at Americans. Anyway, but
enough.
some of the other big news for Blind Girls that's come out recently is that they are touring North America, including they're on that bill for that hardcore heavy fest that's happening in Canada. I believe Toronto. Could be Ontario though.
Is that the one with Origami Angel?
No, it's the one with Awake But Still in Bed.
Is that the one with Kali Masi?
No, there was one with Kelly Masi that just recently got
Yeah, that's like
You
Laura
got
Jane
announced,
Gray's on the
though.
bill or something.
No, the one with Kelly Masi, I'm pretty sure is Petite League.
Yeah, there's Petite League. I think Laura Jane Grace and Kali Masi on the bill.
Yeah,
I'm
actually checking it now. I know there was one that they recently on. Can we get the bloody? I'll have to just check. I know Petite League were on one. Come on, let's check the Twitter. Let's do the live. Oh my god, can we actually get some? I don't know what it's called, but there was a heavy festival, Canada, and Blind Girls. I'm going to check out the lineup for this one because it was actually a pretty insane lineup. If I can get that bloody thing. New Friends Fest. That's what it was called. Yeah, so Jerome's Dream were one of the headliners. Blind Girls, Your Arms Are My Cocoon, Awake But Still in Bed, Short Fictions. Those are some of the bands playing there as well. It's actually a pretty insane emo lineup.
Oh, nice.
There's also gossip. There's also gossip playing, but it's not the gossip that everybody knows.
There's a lot of good
Trying to
music,
see-
concert stuff happening in Canada, it seems like.
Trying to see if I can find that bloody other lineup, but that's there for another time.
I will look.
Excuse me as I completely cough.
Which I will be seeing Petite League in 2 weeks, actually.
Oh, damn. Anyway, as I cough out my lungs for no apparent reason. I mean, this Blind Girl stuff is great, but I think it's just better to view this in a live setting than it is to really listen to it studioized. Like, if you want pure scrams, that's good. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, and their second album's better than their first, so they're getting a lot more coherent, a lot more consistent, a lot more of the riffs that they are standing out a lot more in the weight and everything than they do in Residue. They shine as a live act.
I can see that, absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that too.
This is really just me kind of covering this because I needed to listen to the albums as in, like, seeing them live later.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to really dissect this because, you know, when it comes to a lot of this, it's kind of hard to, unless you listen to this constantly, know all the lyrics, know all exactly everything that's happening in that, know every single riff, because there is a lot of overwhelmingness to it because it's quite fast paced, it's quite heavy. You're taking a lot in at once, and these songs are pretty short as well. That's not to say that it's a blender. It kind of is a blender, but it's not a blender. Like, the songs are still different enough from each other, but with it being so short and so overwhelming, it's hard to really go back to a moment that you haven't had enough real time to sit with and go, oh yeah, this is stuck in my head, I know how this sounds, this is how it all goes. But you do listen to it, and it's hard, and it's executed really fucking well. And the screaming is just... It's pretty heavy screaming.
Yeah.
It's scrams. We like scrams. Well, me and Dominic like scrams.
Yes. Here we go. I found it. It's the Pooza Festival.
Thank you.
Pouzza. And Kali Masi and Laura Jane Grace are on it. Devin K and the Solutions is also on it. That might be the one I was confusing with Petite League. Yeah, there we go. That's it.
Yeah. Petite League was on there, wasn't it?
No, they're on something else.
Ah, okay.
Unless it's just not announced in this specific listing.
I just post the image in the chat. I'll see if I can find it. I swear there was one where I just saw they were in something.
I saw it too. I just I need to find the actual image that has everything.
I think don't tell me to just only post it on the police story. You found
something?
No,
Petite League's in there. Yep. Give me 1 sec to put it in the thing.
Anyway, as Dominic's doing that, favorites for Hanoi Traffic. They're all on the Kids of My Style. It's There's No Money in Math Rock, Henry Rollins, the guy from He Never Died, and Groundhog Day. Least favorite. Really, there's no specific least favorite. It would be something on towards an end, just because that's the weaker of the two EPs. Blind Girls. Favorites are actually songs like Disassociating While Driving and The Shape of Harm. Those are really shorter, faster, heavier songs that start on The Weight of Everything. Again, I can't really give you a least favorite.
Fair.
But
for me, I would say Kids with No Style. It's all pretty great. I like Seashells. I like Henry Rollins. I like Groundhog Day, and I freaking love I'll See You in a While. Towards the End's a blender. No least favorites on Kids with No Style. And then kind of bookending those, you have Residue and The Weight of Everything in the middle, where it's Residue's not as much of a blunder, but it's the weaker of the two for me, while Weight of Everything's stronger, but I like later songs In Circles more than earlier parts of the album. but they're still all kind of flowing together for me.
Blender for me, although I will say I enjoyed Residue more than the weight of everything.
Oh, there you go. So can we tell Petite to make friends with Alex Leahy just for the sake of that is the only Australian on the lineup, and I'm still looking for a sneaky way of Petite coming over here.
This is a huge festival. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, no, there was. I actually didn't even notice there was like a whole second half to the
Yeah.
to the lineup here.
That's where you
I
get
don't think
your
there's
Devin
gonna be-
Kane solutions.
Yeah, I don't think there's much I'm going to recognize outside of that. But let's take a quick look. See how it was. Trix picks the next album that we're talking about.
Let me pull up the list real quick. Let us go with 1 second. Let's go with Online Friends Winter Tape. Let's just talk about Online Friends.
Yeah,
This is a whole of online friends.
Yeah.
let's continue our online friends marathon content.
The newer stuff is better.
But this stuff is better than the demo album.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, at least from the first EP, the live stuff was not bad. The live stuff either is new stuff or different stuff or works just as well, if not better, than the recordings on the EP.
Yeah.
I've heard he told me how many times now. Anyone?
It's more Online Friends.
I mean, he clearly loves free parking, Kane. I think those covers are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was off for 2 seconds, but I came in for the free parking cover, in which, yeah, every monster is probably the cover of that is probably the best out of everything that's in all the songs covered in this section of Online Friends.
When you have
It's absolutely angsty, but it fits Kane's style quite a lot.
yes, when you have an Evangelion riff on like a clarinet this begin the EP, I am interested.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I think Kane's good at covering other songs.
Yeah, there's a lot of still roughness that's in the early Online Friends, and I get that we're covering a lot of this because we're we're also getting research done for the interview. But I feel like now that that's all done and we're covering this for the sake of covering this, we're basically scratching like we're trying to just grab the crumbs after we've already just eaten the bag. And there's still some good crumbs in there, but the crumbs.
I thought His Happy Ending to a Predictable Story was an interesting song. I think, it was a little bit self-aware, a little bit trying to be happier, a little bit, still sad in its content of like, I like these people, but they're all fictional, but they make me happy.
Mm.
So I
Yes.
kind of at least dug the sentiment behind that.
Definitely.
And it's just interesting still to kind of like see this microcosm of like very late pre-COVID fifth wave stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, out of all this, the best EP or best section was the live at Minecraft Moe Fest one, because there was just a lot of with Winter Tape and the singles. There's a lot of roughness in a studio recording, and there's a certain charm to it all. But when it's done in this kind of live version, that's COVID live version, there's a certain more energy, just everything being done live that. It kind of negates a lot of those issues that you get having heard it in a studio way, because it's just you kind of take it less seriously, if you know what I
You
mean.
can forgive it more easily if there's a screw up or something.
Yeah.
Because as they say, it's the first live show.
Yes.
Whilst on the studio versions, and then compare it to the demos, I mean, there's actually not too much difference in the quality, production-wise. I mean, there's some mixing differences you can kind of hear.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Otherwise, it is still very. What's the word? It's very scrappy. I don't mean that in a very insulting way, because I know well, we kind of now know like the whole how this all starts, and this is very much the early beginnings band. But I mean, most bands from the early beginning are scrappy, and is just how this sounds.
You know, it's more of the effort of making the music any way you can than like worrying about how well does it sound. You know, like he didn't intend it to be this way necessarily, but it's kind of like do the work. The better equipment and things will come later.
Yes.
That being said, when I said like the low mixing, Scarecrow Anthem is way too loud. Just every time it goes that on, I had to just turn the volume down so low. Like, oh, okay, fair. Now this isn't killing my ears. But and like, it's none of these I hate or anything like that, but songs like Scarecrow Anthem, because of how kind of rough they are, and I get that we're going into just the history of online friends basically at this point, compared to what is the better current times that they have.
Yeah,
it's still trying to judge it as a song. I just don't really particularly like it. You know, it's just the nicest thing I can probably kind of say. I mean, it feels like it's kind of trying to have a bit of humor in its lyricism, but it just comes off as really just confusing more than anything.
I think Scarecrow Anthem had something going for it. I think that was a more looser attempt at being funny and like doing something weird that I think worked okay for what it was. I don't think some of that stuff came through as well in the stuff that kind of came after. Like there's like a looseness to just like, let's just do a song, let's just throw something together and like write it out and get it going. Like that garage band aspect, I think that worked in its favor.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think this is just one of those agree to disagree. I mean, it's not like you can really go and fight over like, oh, I think the production goods or the production's bad, because we all know what the production is on it is near none.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it might as well be an iPhone recording it live.
Which, you know, there's always a certain charm to that. But I think if I had come into listening to Online Friends first by their early stuff, I wouldn't have been so keen on bringing them in. I mean, I think obviously hearing the last stuff, it's a lot more cleaner and they're in a lot better sound now, and that is a lot more what I'm keen on to cover.
Yeah.
But just going to this, it's like, yeah, it's cool demo history or early recordings history, but kind of just trying to review it as a song, it's just really kind of hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the end of this saga for us for the foreseeable future, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I will never pick the fan service album, but like I have no plans to do it anytime soon.
I think I've just probably listened to too much of this band in the past month as well.
I think that's also fair.
Yeah.
Favorites out of everything is Alive at Minecraft Moe Fest EP. Every monster's the best off it. Although I do like Hidomi and the introduction to that with Get the Weebs Out.
Yeah.
Least favorite is probably Scarecrow Anthem.
I would agree with you, except for the part where I think Scarecrow Anthem is also one of my favorites. My least favorite is just some of the stuff on Winter Tape is just whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll agree with Dominic. Scarecrow Anthem is actually probably one of my favorites, and Winter Tape's on the weaker side.
Though again, I would still say overall better than the demos.
Yeah.
Now, flip the coin over. Christian Kahn.
I did not like this.
You know, you try things, and then you realize certain things don't work, and then you rebrand and try again. I think
I'm shocked. I'm shocked I like Intention so much, because now listening to his early stuff, I would not have bothered to have given this dude the time of day music wise afterwards, because this is Whilst it's still well produced, don't get me wrong about it. Really not a vibe.
It's produced in the way that I think a lot of musicians at this level are produced, and that is like it is fine in the studio. It is totally like mixed, well enough. But at a certain point, you really can't kind of paper over the problems that the songs have.
Yeah.
You just kind of got to do your best and like let him be him. And in the weird scenario in which I was given this album and told like, okay, he wants some, opinions. He wants you to kind of tell him what you think, what he should be doing, where he should go. And my advice would be ditch the rap. Like it's hip hop is not your vibe right now.
Yeah.
You're not doing it very well, unfortunately, on the album. If I felt that you could rap in a way that made it worthwhile, I'd tell you to keep going, but not here. Because I think the singing parts were fine. I think the parts where we had other singers worked all right.
Yes.
And so he focused more on that. And that's how we get Intentions and Count My Fears and all that.
Count My Fears, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he had that frank conversation with himself, I hope, of like, how do I actually like show my best self?
Although he is a better rapper than D.D. Ramone.
That's not a high bar.
This is very much a post-Macklemore rap world where we're in right now.
You know damn well we defend Macklemore in Downtown, though.
Yes, Downtown is a fantastic song because Eric Shaw Nolly, isn't it?
Yeah, well, anybody who tries to say that Downtown's a bad song just doesn't know fun. And I'm someone who thinks Macklemore's newer stuff is absolute pure crap. But Downtown, I'll even defend Thrift Shop.
Thrift Shop's fine.
Thrift Shop fucked in middle school. Aging myself there.
If Thrift Shop was a normal song that did not get the fame that it got, it would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to agree with people who hate Can't Hold Us. I think that one's just a bit generic for the whole thing, and there's not much fun in it.
Just wait till
we'll always defend Same Love as well.
Just wait till we get to covering Macklemore in like 2 years, and we can talk all about which songs are actually worth it at this point, and which songs can be thrown in the garbage.
Oh, there's a lot in both.
But can't wait till we talk about Wings. Tell you that.
But we forever defend Downtown.
Yes.
Wings.
Did you know there's chicken wings?
Yes, I cook them quite frequently.
But if the
Can you tell me where the wing on a buffalo is?
What the what?
Can you tell me where the wing on the buffalo is?
Yeah, Western New York.
Oh.
If the wings help the chicken fly, but there are no wings to help the buffalo fly, and Red Bull gives me wings, do you bake the chicken wings in Red Bull?
Let's get back into the Christian Kahn, because I don't like where this tangent's going.
You can't really bake in liquid. That's called braising.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. I am on the Bandcamp page, and I like that we have both bought this album.
Yeah, we are the two single people to have bought this album, which makes me feel even worse for criticizing it.
I mean, it's an album that it is technically newer than this podcast. Also, it's released in December 2019.
Yes.
Yep, and for Christian Kahn, listen, just a reminder, I put you as 199 in my top 200 if Intentions, and I will still defend that. But I just can't vibe with this thing. I tried to. I kind of had this on whilst I was cooking some brownies earlier, and I was kind of shocked by this being the sound that we got, and yeah, I haven't bothered to search up any of the lyrics or anything like that. I have no intention. I just couldn't vibe. It's better than Cardinal Heart. It gets that.
I'm looking up
because I haven't searched the lyrics.
What is the other? Is it better than Rock Walls and Tall Women? That's the question.
Is it better than that?
Yeah, I'd rather listen to this than Rock Walls and Tall Women, I'll be honest.
Rock Walls and Tall Women, that was an interesting one because it did try a bunch of different things in there before it eventually just got really boring. And this is trying the same thing over and over. It's not working. I think they're on two different levels where I can't really compare them. And really, the answer is I'd rather just put the Hanoi Traffic EP back on.
I mean, yes, that's kind of where I was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was
And
on Water or Shadows where I'm like, I can't do this right now.
no, I'm not even joking. This is my cue right now. It's the full EP, and I need a full album. Sorry, and I just needed a cleanser.
I mean, yeah. That
Yeah.
I am sorry if we're dunking on the album. I do think that you're more interesting doing what you're doing now. I hope you continue to find inspiration and the drive to keep going with more of the acoustic, guitar-driven stuff you're doing.
Indeed.
Yeah,
And I will say, just to compliment this album as well, the production is good, and when there's actual singing and the guest vocalists on it, they are executed well. Again, I haven't searched up the lyrics because I have no intention to, because I don't really want to find more and to criticize. It's just that the actual song structures, ideas, and the rapping on this album just do not work.
and his
Yeah.
Bandcamp is teasing his newest release, Everything I Love, but I don't know what that is because it is not anywhere. So at some point, there will theoretically be a song or something called Everything I Love.
Oh,
But
yes.
until then, there's really not much else I don't think we can really talk about with this. That it just feels like someone's getting their feet wet, and that's fine. You are totally allowed to do that.
Yes,
But
you are.
sometimes you gotta like get it out of you to get the good stuff, to kind of harness what makes you interesting as an artist.
You know what? I got a better question for you, Dominic.
Yeah.
Is this better or worse than the Slifermine EP?
Oh, I'd listen to Slythamine. Because it's shorter.
You'd listen to Slifermine.
It's
okay.
shorter.
I have a weird comparison I'd like to make that this kind of reminded me of.
Sure.
That Gnosis guy we covered who messaged
Gnosis
you on
is alive.
Bandcamp. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why, but listening to this, I just kind of got reminded of like he has a similar vibe, but not with the music.
Interesting.
I don't know how to explain it, but like I get like the same mysticism, I guess.
The biggest comparison I can do is Dan Masi, because Dan Masi's got a very similar career trajectory where it's a mixture of both the rap, hip hop. I mean, Dan Masi's doing a lot more as well, and I think there's a bit more in the full albums that are better executed. But I think if we're actually comparing artists and what they've done, I think that's the actual closest comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, Rock Willis and Tall Woman had the white man rapping problem as well. That's why I kind of threw that comparison in.
Yeah, that's true. To be honest, I've tried to forget a lot about that album.
Which I don't blame you.
But it's funny you mention that, Trix, because I totally discovered Christian Kahn and Gnosis is Alive probably in the same night. Like, I think I was just looking through releases on Bandcamp trying to find interesting things.
I've definitely done that before.
True shit. Look at this sticker and rate it out of 10.
10.
Trix, what's your rating?
I'm pulling it up. Give me a second.
Once the rating is done, I'll describe what the sticker is.
10.
Yeah, there's a band called Platonic Sex, and I got a sticker that's just like a bumper sticker that says "I love platonic sex," and that's it.
I want to post that in my apartment.
In my on my Subaru, I used to have a sticker for the band Beef. We covered their album years ago. It was just the Patagonia logo edited to say Beef.
You never covered Beef?
Yeah, we did. A Beef CD with 3 E's.
This is the wildest dream I've ever had.
I swear I brought it on the podcast. They had the song Dog Shit Paradise.
Nope.
You probably talked about him, but I don't think we've ever.
We have Captain Beefheart. We have Ginger Bee. Those are the only bees.
I swear I brought it on.
You might have mentioned.
No, but they got a song for the 2024 shortlist.
Well, Trix, I know what you're going to pick soon.
Yeah, I think I've been meaning to do it.
I swear I could have done it. I don't really have a favorites or least favorites of this, by the way.
No, and let's remind ourselves this was a pick that I just kind of left a chance of out of 6 options. This is the one that we ended up having.
Look what we've done.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any favorites or least favorites. I don't think it's a blender. I will say that, even though the songs do sound similar, it is not a blender.
It is not.
No, it's not. I'm just being nice by saying no favorites or least favorite.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. This is probably my least favorite of the week. I'll say that.
I think it's
I'd agree.
everyone's.
But that leaves us now with Cage the Elephant. Thank you. Happy birthday.
Yes.
Trix, why'd you pick it?
I've been playing a lot of Borderlands.
And you picked the wrong album for that song.
I did. I picked this one purely because it had the song 2024 on it.
You know what? I think you
Fair
were better
enough.
for choosing it.
So you can call this the 2024 album.
Yes.
I think this album was all right. This is very 2011 in a good way. Very 2010s in general. You know, the filtered vocals, kind of the weird guitar tones, kind of trying different genres in a way and kind of having fun with it, but also kind of being, I don't know what you'd call it, not prissy, but there's a
I will put it
casual hipsterness to it.
I will put it this way. Cage the Elephant has been on a very downhill path, quality-wise and mentally-wise, with their lead singer, who was only recently very lucky to escape jail time, I'm pretty sure. I kind of forgot that their early stuff was good.
That's fair. I'm unfamiliar with the whole jail time thing. Although I will say this is probably my least favorite Cage the Elephant album of what I've listened to.
The jail time, by the way, was due to owning. It was missed out on it. It was due to owning a unregistered weapon. I'm pretty sure. I'm just
a hotel employee saw him carrying a firearm into a bathroom.
And Code 9, yeah.
Yeah.
It was found on a firearm possession. So
Gotcha.
I don't know if it was registered properly or not, but yeah.
Why he would have a gun in a hotel bathroom is beyond me.
I can think of a couple of reasons.
I mean, you'd think you'd have better security or something at that point.
Yeah. That's not the reason I'm thinking of, though.
What reason are you thinking of?
No, there's been a bit of. We'll stop the speculation.
Mine's kind of dark.
Here.
I'll just say that.
We'll stop the speculation here because that's a smart thing to do. But yeah, I would honestly say the last couple albums have been very well, the last two at least have been very kind of mediocre. And this, I was kind of expecting to, potentially like one or two songs and then not really like the rest of the album. No, I like this as a full album. It's not my favorite of the week even, but
yeah, no, I
think they are just experimenting with a lot of music on here, and this is kind of just a fun rock album from the early 10s, and yeah, it's not really one of those ones which I'm going to go scream and recommend to everyone, but I mean, for people who like Cage the Elephant, I think this is probably up there with one of their better albums, up with Melophobia.
Yeah, Melophobia is probably my favorite.
I have never listened to a Cage the Elephant album, really. I just know a couple of their songs.
Melophobia is a good album.
I was kind of avoided them because I thought, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked was way overplayed.
Oh, yeah, no, it absolutely was.
100%.
To the point that I thought that was gonna be like a White Stripe song. It was Cage the Elephant's breakout song instead.
Indeed.
To be honest, I don't even really like Ain't No Rest for the Wicked compared to a lot of Cage the Elephant's good songs. It doesn't suck. It's just like they've written so much better.
Yeah, Borderlands 3 uses Trouble in the credits, and I think that's better than Ain't No Rest for the Wicked.
The best song off that album is Come a Little Closer, probably their best song, or Cigarette Daydreams.
Cigarette Daydreams got me through many a break when I was working in a factory.
The best song of that one with Trouble is Mess Around.
Yes.
This album, though, there are some really interesting moments. Some I wouldn't say they were like favorites, but like a song like "Indie Kids" is interesting.
Yeah, which has this kind of. I need to get. This is the one I need to get the lyrics out for. It was kind of this like self-aware mocking song,
Yeah,
and it had. I to just get the specific lyric out.
get the
Can't
right
remember
haircut.
it fully 'cause
Yeah.
I think that's the one that I'm on about.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta go down to the schoolhouse and get some shoes and get the right haircut.
like what the fuck does that mean?
Must conform.
Surely it's a pavement cut your hair reference.
Oh, is it?
Probably.
I was like, I couldn't think of why you would go to a schoolhouse to get your hair cut and your shoes, but that might be a different time, different place thing.
I think the whole point of going down to the schoolhouse might be being like a prep school or a private school kid.
That makes more sense than the one room schoolhouse I was thinking of.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much to say. My partner has stolen the brownie already. She was very excited for some brownies, and now she's stolen a big corner piece. Fucking hell. You ever make a whole batch of brownies only for your partner to steal the corners?
They're the best parts.
I know they're the best parts, and she's eaten a giant corner.
Okay,
You
I-
gotta
she's
you gotta
mocking
invest
me.
in one of those.
I need
brownie
to ask a
headphones.
question now that we're talking about this.
Yes.
Yes.
Someone gives you a fresh plate of brownies. They're not even cut yet. Or let's say it's a casserole if you prefer. You have you have the choice of the first piece. Where do you cut?
In the brownie, it's always the corner. I don't give a shit about other people's opinions or being nice. It's always the corner.
Yeah.
In the casserole, I don't think it matters too much. Just as long as you get some with the crispy top.
Corner for the casserole. And honestly,
No,
I might go for a center. Be polite for the brownie.
Actually, I'm going to change my answer for the brownie. I think I'm going to cut a giant, I'm going to cut just all the edges off. And then a giant circle in the middle as well. No one else gets to have a good piece of the brownie.
I think I'm just going to invest in one of these days. I really need to just invest in a brownie edge fan.
Yeah, those ones where it's just all corners.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking,
because like you can use them for shit other than brownies. Like I saw
Yes.
someone make Detroit style pizza in one, and holy fuck, was that a genius idea?
the reason I'm asking is my roommate the other week made a mac and cheese casserole, which is just basically making mac and cheese with more butter and cheese. And
Yeah.
Yes.
it took him like a day to admit that he was bothered by the fact that I cut from the center.
That's unhinged,
No.
dude.
Yeah, no, what the fuck? You going from the fucking center?
Yeah, for a casserole, that's fucking unhinged.
You start from the edges, and no matter what the fuck you're doing, you start from the edges. You don't go from the center. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I didn't
Yeah,
want
dude, I'm with your roommate on this one.
I didn't want the crispy burnt parts on the side that are always there.
Then you go and say to your roommate, you grab the first piece.
Yeah. And you cut like a third from the center on the edge, and then you go for the centerpiece.
So I'm very much
And
in the wrong on this
if they're
one.
saying
Yeah.
if they're saying they want you to go, you say you're not hungry just this moment, but I'll be hungry later, and you wait for them to grab their food, no matter how long it takes, and then you pick it from the next side of it, so you don't look like a fucking psychopath in front of your roommate. Who picks it from the center? Who picks it from the fucking center?
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm that fucking disaster piece.
Society has rules, Dominic.
I'm sure he'll feel very validated that we've had this conversation.
Fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Casey Elephant. Yeah, so the other comparison is listening to the other single that you put on this Neon Pill, which is their 2024 one. It's somewhat catchy. I think it's probably better than some of the stuff of Social Cues, but I mean, if it was on Thank You Happy Birthday, it'd be the worst song off there.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I like Neon Pill quite fine. I thought that was a totally fine song. If it was on this, it would
I'm
just be
sorry,
another totally
Mister.
fine song.
I eat from the center of the casserole, but your opinion doesn't matter.
All
You're
right.
getting bullied for this sort of Residue episode.
I thought Rubber Ball was a nice, fine song. Very sweet little, more acoustic-y, ballet type song instead of more straight up rock.
Now, you know how this is also very much a product of the time of 2011?
Yeah.
This singles from Thank You, Happy Birthday. Number 1, Shake Me Down, released November 22nd, 2010. The album was released January 11th, 2011. Single number 2, Around My Head, May 4th, 2011. Single number 3, September 15th, 2011. And number 4 was somehow September 11th, 2011. So that's probably the wrong order. But
Or the
it's
fifth.
what... Yeah. But that's the case of... They had 3 singles released after the album.
And the best song they waited until release until 9/11. Because yes, it's always something.
Indeed.
I mean, the opening half to this album is like the stronger half, in my opinion. From always something to sell yourself. It's just a great, real kind of fun of. I mean, those kind of near experiments into noise rock that they get onto in the start of this album is very just chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Yes.
It gets the dopamine in the brain. I think when this album kind of slows down at the end is where it kind of really starts to lose me a bit. And they're a band that's kind of always slowed down, to be honest.
And it seems like
it works on Melophobia, where they're a bit more psychedelic, but.
And you got the version that has Right Before My Eyes at the end, or Flow, and then Right Before My Eyes. I think there's like a hidden track.
I've got a hidden track on there. It might be an alternative take of Right Before My Eyes.
Because I think mine had Carry Me In and Doctor Help Me Help Me Help Me, which are not on the original release.
Let's see, 4, 7. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it's definitely a hidden track. I don't think there's any other one.
Yeah, you got the original version. I don't know.
Yeah.
If the newer version was ever released outside of America now. That's interesting.
Yes, very much so.
But
it's whatever version found its way to Australia.
But Carry Me In was an interesting song because it's like it sounds like the closer. It has a lot more different parts to it that kind of coalesce together at the end. I thought that was one of the cooler highlights. But harder to talk about that if you did not deal with that.
No, I just didn't have those versions available for me. It's pretty annoying.
We will make sure that does not happen in the future.
There's always an opportunity
we will pirate every KG elephant.
We will
I got it too a little too late.
Fair enough.
We uncage the elephant?
We will uncage.
Oh.
By pirating.
Hell yeah.
We'll get other...
You know what band Cage the Elephant also reminds me a lot that we've covered?
What?
Dr. Dog.
Yeah, I get that vibe. Sound-wise, it's different, but I get the vibe.
Yeah. They were in the same scene.
We'll get some other 2010 attempts at getting some label bands going, like Django or something. We'll compare them. I think something like that fits better than Dr. Dog.
Fair enough.
I have not heard a Django song in so long.
But they were around for a minute.
Yeah. No, Default was big.
But anyways, Cage the Elephant, fun. I will probably be covering more of them in the future.
Favorites, Indie Kids, Always Something, and Shake Me Down. Least favorites, probably something like probably Flow.
Fair enough. Favorites for me, Lay Me Down. Let me pull up the track list. It's right here.
It's Shake Me Down, not Lay Me Down. You've already failed
Shake
the
Me Down.
Indie
cred. Aberdeen fucks pretty hard. No real least favorite. Shiver, the bonus track that Ritz didn't listen to, I think is a highlight.
I liked Always Something. I liked Rubber Ball. I liked what is it? Carry Me In. Yeah, that was a nice one too. Least favorite, we're probably looking at. Oh, interesting. Shake me. Okay, we're looking at something like 2024 or Flow. Probably those are probably gonna be my least favorites. But I think overall this album's pretty strong as an album. Which leads us now.
That's it. Yeah, we got to rank it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think we can. We have a universal least
I'll
favorite.
start. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
the Christian Kahn.
All right, buddy.
I'm going to remove all the singles from the ranking because it's just easier that way.
Yeah.
After that, it's going to probably be Winter Tape. Then it's going to be Towards an End. Then Live at Minecraft Moe Fest. Then Residue. Then I'd probably put The Weight of Everything. Then Cage the Elephant, Thank You, Happy Birthday, and Kids with No Styles #1.
I agree with that.
I am. Mine is going to be a little different. I'm going to start with the Christian Kahn, obviously at the bottom, and then I'm actually going to go Hanoi Traffic. But I'm going to put, and I'm blocking these together because that's just how I think they go together. I'm going to have Kids with No Style above Towards an End. Then I'm going to do the Online Friends stuff, then Blind Girls, and then Cage the Elephant.
When I heard Kids with No Style, I was very much like, oh, this is obviously the winner of the week. There's no fucking way otherwise for me. I was so happy you picked it.
But what are we picking for next episode?
This begs the question, since we are actually going to have another 2-week period. Trix, this is your chance to do levitation sessions.
I have another pick if Ritz still wants to wait on that.
I'm happy to wait.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Trix, what's your pick?
Okay, so I alluded to it earlier, but Shaky Graves Day was this month, and we're not going to be covering any of his new releases.
Of course not.
I want to do the Above Below EP, and I'm going to do the Live from the Good Music Club.
Live from the Good
Dominic,
Music Club?
Yes. None of them are on streaming. I will provide files if I have to.
Yeah, we
Fair enough.
We can make it work. Okay, so those two things. That's it?
Yes. That is it.
All right.
I picked like a 30-minute EP and like that is shorter than I thought, but yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. I'll go next if you want.
Yeah, I was telling you to.
Okay, cool. We're going to dive back into Radiohead versus Muse, but
Of course we are.
we're going to change it up a little bit because I think it's important to give a little more context to how things change from here on. We have covered what is kind of the classic era of each band. We are now kind of getting into the more modern era of each one, but it's important to have a couple more stops along the way. So, on one side, I'm picking Tom York's debut album, The Eraser, along with the B-side EP he put out, Spitting Feathers. That's also going to be required. And then, since we have 2 weeks, I'm also going to put on Muse's The Second Law as well.
Hell yeah, let's go. Let's go.
All right.
So that's
All right.
Eraser, Spitting Feathers, and Muse's Second Law.
I'm just debating if I pick what I pick, but I'm gonna just think about what's taking for the time and all that stuff. It's just a solid question. Well, I'll go for #1, which I am going to pick anyway, which is the new, because I know Trix loves the sound, the new Captain Jazz album, Captain Jazz, which I said I was going to cover eventually, and we're going to cover it. It's the term. The way I'm going to describe this without fully us getting into this is, I think we've already decided that just because it's a shit post doesn't mean it's not serious.
Yeah.
And that's basically how I'm describing this.
This is the one with the house on fire, right? Yeah.
With the hotel on. Oh shit! I know what we need to cover. Yeah, Domino. Guess who just put out a new album?
Comic book, right? No, that's a few days from now.
No, that's a few days from now. It's something that you're probably a bit more excited for. Big Scary have a new album.
Yeah, Wing. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna cover that as well.
We'll see.
And I'm gonna tack on one more Shaky Graves EP too.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do As Per Request, which is another collection of live stuff.
I don't hate that just because Shaky Graves is so much better live than studio.
Yes, and we're doing 2-to-1 live to studio.
Okay. So, well, that gives us Shaky Graves. As above, so below. I can't remember what that's called.
Above Below.
Above Below. Live from the Good Music Club EP. As Per Request. I have chosen Tom York's The Eraser, his Spitting Feathers EP as well, and Muse's The Second Law. Ritz has chosen The Self-Titled by Captain Jazz, and Big Scary Wing.
And don't get Captain Jazz confused with Captain Jazz.
Yes, this is
Big
Captain
Scary
Jazz.
Wing a hot wing?
Big Scary Wing is what they eat on Hot Ones all the time.
I kind of forgot that we had a chicken wing discussion.
Well,
Hey, I cook a lot of chicken wings, so they're always on the mind.
on that
That's
note,
fair.
that'll do it for Dissonant Waves. My name is Dominic. You can catch me online at DACICHOCKI on Twitter, Dominic Chakotki on YouTube if you must. I'm also sometimes on the Games from Unfiled podcast. We're recording our episode on Kingdom Hearts Recoded in about 8 hours from now. So that'll be fun. Check it out.
Take a nap.
I've been Ritalin. You can catch me on my website, ritalinforkids@github.io. I don't really have any more things to link. I haven't updated my YouTube in like 5 years.
I've been Trix. I have a link tree now, so all of my links are in one convenient place. Check out our Redbubble store, buy our clock and our calendar. I might actually buy our apron.
Hell yeah.
Check us out online, dissonantwaves.space. Check out our YouTube. I am currently looking into a place to upload audio-only versions of this podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's going to do it. Have a great time of your life. Have a time of your life.